tuning in to another episode of Diaries of an Entrepreneur Mommy. I'm Kanitha Amour-Porter, your host, and I'm the owner of Amour Your Body. And today we have a special guest. We have Ian Watts. He's right here.
Hello.
Yes, he's not a woman, but he's going to tell you why.
I'm not an entrepreneur mommy, if you guys didn't notice.
Right, but we're going to talk about why it is I thought it was very important for us, or for you, to get to know him. And so, Ian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, first let me say thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay.
I like to say that I am a self-proclaimed small business junkie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an author. I'm a small business coach.
We'll talk about this in a minute.
We will. And I'm excited about that. And I specialize in helping clients to fulfill their small business dreams. Specifically, I run a coaching company designed to help clients to generate predictable revenue and to develop effective systems for growth and personal freedom.
All right, so that sounds like a mouthful, right?
A little bit. So if I need to slow it down, I will.
Okay, so I met him actually via Facebook, actually.
Yes.
One of my Facebook friends tagged me and said, hey, you have to see his Facebook Live. I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, he has so much good information. So tell us how you got from the beginning into how you started helping small businesses.
Sure. I think to share that most appropriately, I need to start at a point of pain. So, born and raised on the east side of Detroit. My story is a bit cliche, one of which you hear across urban areas all over. Raised by a single mom. So it was my brother, who was 4 years my senior. My mom and I, we lived on less than $580 a month.
Wow.
And so for me, entrepreneurship was a way out. You know, I had goals of being a millionaire and building a business. You know, that was the way to help me escape where we were coming from, and I was looking for mentors. And unfortunately, I never found the mentors that I was looking for. So I think my passion for coaching was birthed based upon what I didn't have. So I always wanted to be what I didn't see as a young business owner.
Okay, that's awesome. That is really good. And it's cliche, but it happens to so many of us, right? And one of the things I love is that somebody who's watching this is going to be able to identify with you.
Sure.
Right?
Hope so.
And say, hey, like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. And of course, if you inbox him or go to his, what's your website? Go to your website.
Yep, it is I have two. I have my author website and I have my coaching website.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, my business website, it's a new one, should be developed probably in about 2 or 3 days now, but it's sbdreamcoach.com. That's S as in Sam, B as in boy, dreamcoach.com, which stands for the Small Business Dream Coaching Company.
All right, that sounds good. So one of the reasons why I asked him to here today is because he has a ton of really amazing clients. I'm one of them, and I know. But it's a lot of women that he helps. And so I wanted to talk to you about your client base and if you see a difference between men ownership and women ownership. I know that recently we found out that, we as women are starting businesses at a very high rate.
1.5 times the rate of everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're also failing as well, and so we want to stop that. And so if you can have any kind of, definitely, right? Well, I know I'm going to be stopping that.
Yes.
But we want more women to stop that and be able to be successful. So do you have any tips or insight of what you think that it is?
Sure. A few things come to mind, actually 3 specifically, 2 of which are tremendously practical, and they cause the outflow into the third thing that I see that's pretty prevalent. The first is not for women specifically, but entrepreneurs in general. I think the first challenge that many entrepreneurs have, again, not specifically just women, is not really understanding what business they're in. Many people mistakenly think that the industry that they work in or the specific thing that they do, the product or the service they produce or they facilitate is the business, and that's not the actual business that people are in. But it is so cliche, again, that, I'll say it like this. Here's probably the easiest way to say it, and I'll borrow from Michael Gerber from E-Myth Worldwide. He says that most people are not entrepreneurs. They are technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure.
Okay.
Meaning that, they were maybe on a job somewhere and they decided they wanted to fire the boss, right? So they decided that because they had the technical skill, which took them years to hone and craft and perfect, that they could go out based upon that skill alone and do well. And unfortunately, There are many different facets to building a successful business, and being good at the technical skill, the deliverable is only one of them. So,
Right.
not understanding that what you do is not the real business that you're in. That's a totally different skill set. Secondarily, not executing properly. And this is one thing that I do think that women wrestle with more so than some of my male clients. Actually, over 80% of my clientele are women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the challenge, the unique challenges that women run into is just trying to balance life, right? So many of my clients, yeah. So most of them, excuse me, I have a significant portion of my clientele that are looking to transition into the businesses full time. So not everyone's in their business like you full time yet, but that's what they're working towards. So the challenges that they run into is they're still working, right? So many of them are college educated, not all, but many of them are college educated and high flyers where they are. So they're working, they're married, right? They have kids,
Right.
and now they're trying to build this business as well.
Another baby.
Yeah, another baby, another baby, and you know, babies don't care about everything else you have going on.
Nope,
A baby
they're very
just
selfish.
feed me, nurture me, feed me, Seymour,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I think not executing, and because of the first two, not understanding that what you do is not the business that you're in,
Okay.
and because of lack of execution, it causes the third issue that I see is pretty prevalent among women is this sense of frustration, the sense of guilt. If I'm spending too much time with my family, my business is being starved, and if I'm spending too much time with my business, you know, my family is being starved. So those are three issues that I see that are really, really prevalent. There are more, but those are just, you know, some of the top three that come to mind. And the thing that I would say to help with that, excuse me, is threefold. First thing is this: time management is false, right? We say it, and I even say it in my less sober moments, just quickly, if we're on the subject. But really, time management is false. You don't manage time; it keeps moving.
Right.
And I think the philosophical shift that people need to make is that you have to manage priorities in the context of time.
And that's very important.
You have to manage. So the first thing you have to do. And I will tell you this: you won't necessarily, and I experienced this even in my own life. Emotions make great slaves but poor masters. You don't necessarily always get through the emotion of, where am I going to spend my time? Because when you're over here, you may be thinking about being over there. And I think the thing that's important is prioritizing what each day looks like, so that even when your emotions try to trigger you and make you feel guilty or make you feel like you're not, you're dropping the ball somewhere, you know that you have dedicated time. So if there's some quality time that you want to dedicate, not that you want to, that you should, right? I am not an advocate of sacrificing your family or your most valuable relationships at the altar of success, but there will be family sacrifice.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you have prioritized time for the husband, the spouse, right? For the kids, and then for the business. And when those emotions come up, you just have to remind yourself that this is a sacrifice, but you have to be intentional about your day. So you have to make sure, in order to be able to execute and to make sure that you're doing the right things, you got to prioritize properly. So,
That's true.
So priority management is really key. And after you have had a conversation with, hey, mommy may not be around as much as I'd like to, but we got a special day dedicated, or special days.
Right.
And it's on a calendar, and we look forward to it. And here's the deal: unless somebody's sick, dead, or dying, you don't break it.
Right.
Likewise, you need to have that time dedicated toward business. And because time is limited, right? It's a scarce commodity. We got to make sure that this time that I have dedicated for whatever area is supposed to be dedicated in, unless there's something earth-shattering, I stick to it. Now, life does happen, but if you've been consistent and you've been diligent and you've invested that time, small things that amount to big things over a long period of time, I think that helps with that. But to even help with the first recommendation, or the first tip, two things I would recommend, and I would couple them together. You got to get somebody that's going to hold you accountable, right?
Yeah. Very true.
Life is a success, and life is a team sport. We weren't created to be an island.
No.
So you want to make sure that as you prioritize and as you are looking to achieve the greatness that you're shooting for, you have someone who's wise, who can look over your shoulder and say, hey, listen, what you're doing and what you say you want to achieve, they aren't in alignment right now.
he did this for me. I came, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And he was like, okay, let's narrow it down.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, there's a great book. It's by Jim Collins. It's called Good to Great. And I love how the book opens up. It opens up the good is the enemy of great. Okay. Right? So there are a whole lot of good things that you can be doing, but you got to give up the good for the great. Mm-hmm. And that shifts depending upon the season. So you need to make sure that you get out of your own mind and you have somebody else who's wise, that you trust, that can give you a healthy dose of both tough and tender love. Okay. They can help you out with that. So getting accountability is key to helping you with priority management and making sure that you stick to the things that you said you were going to do. In addition to that, getting connected with another group of like-minded high flyers that can empathize with you, that can encourage you, that can challenge you, mm-hmm. because people who are not just entrepreneurs, but people who are visionary in general, we have this wonderful thing called reality distortion, and we are weird, mm-hmm. right? I don't understand why you are hoping against hope. I don't understand why you keep doing this thing, mm-hmm. and you're not getting any results, at least that I can see. Right? So you got to get around some people who are just as crazy as you are, so that you can celebrate with one another, pick one another up, and learn from one another as well. So I couple those two together. And then the final thing I would say is this. Because most people don't understand the business that they're in, mm-hmm. and because time is limited, and we recognize the 80-20 rule, 20% of what we do is going to account for 80% of the results. The question is, what 20% is that? Right. So, I recommend get a coach. Okay. I think everyone needs a coach. If Bill Gates has a coach, if Warren Buffett has a coach, if some of the greatest and most successful people throughout history have had coaches and advisors, how much more should we if we're striving to achieve something that we haven't yet realized? So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, that's a really helpful.
And I'll take a break. Because I can keep going and keep going, no, that's okay. Like the Energizer Bunny.
But it's very helpful. I found it myself, and this is not the first business that I've had, but this is the first business that I wanted to do things differently. I wanted it to succeed. And me having a coach that had me working like crazy.
I don't know why she's coughing. I don't. And maybe we can get some water in here. It seems to be a problem, and I know it's.
It's a good problem to have, right? And someone to hold you accountable. Actually, I think the biggest thing was kind of honing in what my focus should be. Sure. Was the biggest for me, mm-hmm. because now everything I do, I'm thinking about that, and I'm specializing in this. Sure. And so when things come up, it doesn't shake my foundation. I think it's made my foundation stronger. Good. And so, good. Yes. So having a coach to help you take all your biggest, you call us weird, we are, our family are like, what? Why don't they just get a job, right? We're like, no. But I have these big, grandiose, ideas, and to help you narrow them down, mm-hmm. to help you stay on track, and then to help you give resources or direct you into the path that you need to be. So if you're out there, if you want to become an entrepreneur, hey, more power to you. I think that this is something that you should do. But if you don't know where to start, you want to definitely maybe even give this gentleman a call or look him up on Facebook and or buy his book.
That would be helpful.
Yes,
that would be helpful.
Very helpful. Before you even make a commitment, you can buy this book, less than $20. A huge benefit for a little investment. So read this and see if you have what it takes. And then after you read this, give him what's the best way to contact you?
The USBG.com. So that stands for the Ultimate Small Business Guidebook. So you can go to my website. It is the author website. I have two. Okay. So the USBG.com. Okay. So you can purchase the book there. You have a lot of free resources that can be downloaded. And if someone wants to reach out, if they're a little bit further along, they can also schedule a free breakthrough session with me.
See, that's awesome.
Or one of my coaches. Yes.
Right. That's awesome. So, all right. Until next time, we will see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.